You say that?
I am a person that believes in second chances. I think America is the land of second chances, except for when it comes to this dude, Mr. Jabba the Hutt, you fat, slovenly, no good, lazy.
No, come on.
While you were on Blaze TV, spewing that bullshit to people, did you tell them that? Did you tell them how you stood outside of First Take begging me to talk to you? Did you tell them that once this same article in Deadspin came out, weeks later you wrote a lengthy apology to me in an email, begging me to forgive you, pointing out how you were betrayed by this particular writer, so you know how I must feel that you betrayed me? Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell him that? My issue with him was, hey, you shouldn't be encouraging the NFL to fine us and penalize us for using it amongst ourselves. How can a race of people who actually made the word iniquitous be in a position to punish us for using the word with one another? I had a problem with that, and I stand by that, but I digress. My point is, in bringing up all of that, Jason Whitlock pounced on it because that's what he does. You see, what he does is he's the one that puts himself in front of white folks. The white folks, not all white folks, not most white folks, but the white folks that dare we say may have a problem with black folks. He says, I'm your man. That's what he does. You think I'm lying? Ask ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, as a black man, I often told y'all, I cannot imagine, as a black man, knowing our history, anything worse than a white supremacist. That is, until Jason Whitlock came along. He's worse than them. He is the worst, most despicable, lying, no good, fat ass human being I have ever known in my life. The other would be a fat bastard that has gotten away for far too long.
Yeah, LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, let's get right into this one. Okay, so Stephen A. Smith came out cooking, and judging by the response to this, everything he's saying is valid because nobody came out to defend Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock had to sit there and get cooked, and then he got up on his channel and tried to revise history. I know RT the Brand, you've seen that in the on Whitlock's channel. Whitlock is on his show talking about, oh, he did not want to hire Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith wasn't qualified for his job and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, you're dusting it up on YouTube. You can't get back on national television. What are you talking about? None of the networks want you. Nobody's there to vouch for you. None of the commentators, none of the journalists, none of the beat writers, none of the executives, none of the directors. Nobody wants to vouch for him. Everybody wants him out of the industry because he's a piece of shit. The way Stephen A. described him is apropos. The man's a coon. Everybody knows this. Someone said Anton cooked him on his own channel. It's fact. Even Anton. Even this guy.
Anton, does your wife know you're gay?
Only when I'm rocking with you, baby girl.
So she knows you're gay.
Hashtag buttercup, baby.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
That guy. Anton Daniels, the guy that caped for Pearl. You should have seen the way Jason Whitlock was kissing Pearl's ass. Jason Whitlock is exactly the way Stephen A. describes him. And let's get into this. We're gonna break down this entire stream that Stephen A. did on Jason Whitlock and provide some commentary, some insight on this. Let's get it.
Talking his bullshit. You wanted some? Fine. I'm happy to give it to you, you piece of shit.
It's funny, before we get into this, everybody in the industry, in the corporate media, in the mainstream media, NBA, in sports media, nobody vouches for him. Nobody likes him. They want him to get the fuck out of here. They're pretty much backing up everything Stephen A is saying. Look at the responses online right now. Everybody's rocking with what Stephen A is saying. Nobody's backing up Whitlock. Whitlock is on YouTube, and the way he's maneuvered on YouTube, he's burned many bridges the same way Stephen A describes the way he burned bridges in the industry. He had Tommy Sotomayor on his show. The first thing he tried to do is play him. And it's like, wait, what the hell's going on here? You guys were supposed to do a collab. This guy's trying to play him shit on him. He tried the same thing with Anton. Anton kind of reversed it on him. But he's just like, he's bad for business. Nobody likes him. Even the folks that I don't fuck with Anton, but Anton probably doesn't fuck with this guy the way he handled business. Jason, yo, RT the brand likes this guy's the ultimate contrarian, yo.
The Stephen A. Smith Show up next, right now. You've been giving me, keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. A little bit later on in the show, I almost never say his name, and that is the name of Jason Whitlock. He is a guy that has a show on Blaze TV. He is the person that I directly allude to as that fat bastard. He's a no good individual, probably the worst individual I've ever had the displeasure of ever being associated with in any capacity, and I will address him in just a few minutes. All I will say is that the things that I'm going to say, please don't hold anybody responsible for it other than me.
Now, Tampa Supreme says Stephen A. Smith didn't dispute any of Jason's facts. Now, what are we talking about, Tampa? What facts did Jason dispute of Stephen A. Smith's? Nothing. Jason has been talking about Stephen A. Smith for years. You want him to refute the facts of his most recent stream when he was getting into his personal stats of what he performed in high school? Who has time for that? Nobody gives a shit about none of that. Shout out to Mike with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Mike says Whitlock comes off as an opportunist and snake. That's exactly what he is. That's exactly what he is. He's taking shots at folks in the industry, in the sports media, like he's some sort of YouTuber in the beef sector. It's like, what are you doing, sir? This is national sports media. These guys are employees for ESPN. You know, and he's trying to reframe everything like these guys are purporting these type of message, like this is not the message of the large brand when it comes to ESPN. They're trying to go back and revisit his takes on the jab. There was only one take you can give on the jab in mainstream media or in media in general, or your channel will get yanked or you'll be fired at those times. So stop the goddamn cap and trying to they're trying to villainize everybody for their take during that. But they basically articulated messages, Stephen A. and Molly, where you had to read between the goddamn lines. And if folks were unable to read between the lines, that's their problem. But really and truly, you had one choice and one thing to say. You couldn't say anything outside contrary to that, or you will not be able to have a platform at those times. Let's be realistic, man. Everybody wants to revise history, but come on, man.
Nobody. I even took the liberty of calling my pastor to apologize in advance for what I'm going to say about that no good bastard. So I will address that in just a few minutes, and I'm not engaging in hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. The pastor's name is Pastor A.R. Bernard at Christian Cultural Center. You don't believe me? Call him and ask him. I don't lie like some other people I know do. But again, I'll get into that a little bit later on in the show.
So I've been talking about that, and I went into some detail about it. Well, Stephen A. Smith, the day after the national championship game, on First Take this morning, lost his discipline and issued a couple of responses.
Lost his discipline and issued a couple of responses. Do you hear this shit? This is indicative of a troll channel on YouTube. Troll channels on YouTube are generally small YouTubers that struggle to get traction. So what their fan base does, and I seen his fan base in the chat. I was over on his channel. They're celebrating the fact that Stephen A. Smith finally responded after 10 years of this guy speaking. The man does not fuck with you. He said that he's not working with you in any capacity on ESPN, which basically rendered you useless and unavailable for ESPN. You got blackballed from Fox because they don't fuck with you at Fox. Nobody fucks with you at Fox. So you get up on your platform and then you celebrate, oh, he got out of posture, he was acting emotional, X, Y, and Z, when he responded to you. Listen, not everybody's as boring as your show that has no life and no emotion, so they're going to be stoic and just completely monotone on the mic. Like, that doesn't do anything for anybody. When they're talking about Stephen A was emotional, he's emphatic with his points. He's going to articulate it with a level of entertainment or entertainment value or factor, while this guy just sits down and gives you some boring ass message. And man, get the shit out of my face, man.
Or took a couple of pot shots at me. I want to play the first one where he's talking to, I believe, Shannon Sharp. Let's watch this.
Goddamn troll.
I want to remind the world, this is Stephen A, baby. I'm not running from anybody. And if somebody is going to misquote me, usually I'm going to make an effort to set the record straight. Now, there are some people, as Shannon constantly reminds me, that deserve to be ignored. There are people in the media, fat bastards to be specific, who are completely irrelevant.
That's facts. Yo, he has so much quotables from this speech.
Clip it, nigga.
Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell him that?
Shout out to Mike with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Mike says you bait someone into a response and have the gall to scold someone for responding. That's facts. 10 years of talking shit, the only way you get traction on the platform. He had his highest streamed video with like 9,000 viewers, active viewers watching it when he's talking about Stephen A. Smith. The second he veered away from that, spoke about some politics shit, he was speaking about some politics. For like a minute and a half, he lost 1,000 people that quick. Dusting it up. Everyone was just there for the shit talk. He can't hold an audience. That's why he's doing this. It's all clickbait moments because he knows his career is going to go down the toilet if he can't sustain any type of viewership on his platform. He's an employee. He's on YouTube, but he's still an employee. Man, he's just dusting it up, man.
You're a victim.
There we go, CSI.
And are starving for attention because all they have left is clicks because their credibility has been shredded everywhere else. And those people are left to be dealt with another day. But
So that is Stephen A. On First Take, calling me fat bastard.
RT the brand says he regularly does 2 to 3K. Okay, so he gets 9K when he speaks about Stephen A. He gets 2 to 3K when he speaks about his regular topics. He was on TV for years. He was on Fox News. Jason Black gets more viewers than that.
We're putting you on probation. We're putting you on probation.
He has, what, 7 times the subscribers of Jason Black, and Jason Black still does more live viewers? Like, what are we doing out here?
Bastard once again, talking with Shannon Sharp. He's upset.
Jason Whitlock. I said that name. It's not a name I've uttered. I normally don't do that, but it's necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That piece of shit. And I want to make sure that before I go to break.
Now, he tried to say, oh, Stephen A. Smith was emotional in his response because he was using profanity in the way he was acting. Now, he seems pretty composed to me. This doesn't seem emotional at all.
I want anyone out there who watches me, anyone out there who knows me, anyone out there, no matter what you think of me, I want you to remember, I never talk about him. I never talk about my colleagues. I don't do that. This is a first. But it's necessary. And when I say don't talk about them, I don't mean don't talk about them literally. I don't get in on them like I'm about to do now. I literally called my pastor and asked for his forgiveness and understanding in advance because he's not going to recognize the person he's about to hear.
Bruh, at the end of the day, man,
we don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
cook this nigga, man. Let's get it.
I did the same when I emailed the bosses at ESPN. This is my podcast. I own and operate this. I do what I want on this podcast. But it doesn't mean that I still don't harbor a responsibility to at least give my daytime employers a heads up as to what I'm about to do.
Oh, yeah, so that sounds so emotional. He was so emotional he couldn't hold back himself that he had to respond, but he had enough time to speak to his pastor, had enough time to give his bosses that heads up, and then proceed to do this. But he was so emotional he couldn't hold himself back. Come on, man. What are we doing out here, Whitlock? That's some filthy work, man. That's some filthy work out here, Whitlock.
My sisters, my nieces and nephews, my boys in the industry, everybody that I could reach out to in time has been warned. It's time for me to address this. I'm only going to do it once.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
Because this bastard is worth less than a damn cockroach. He wanted my attention. He's got it. The Stephen A. Smith Show. Up next. Don't touch that dial. We'll deal with the fat bastard himself right now. Let's roll. In hand. Ladies and gentlemen, as a black man sitting in this seat, the level of vitriol that I have to absorb is something that I understand 99.99% of the time. You're a former player and you want to crucify me, that's fine. You're somebody that was involved in some kind of public incident that I had to speak on, whether you're the wife or ex-girlfriend or some of a former player or whatever, I get it. You're a present-day athlete and you don't like my evaluation of what has transpired before our very eyes and what I'm witnessing, that's cool.
Man, at the end of the day,
We don't care.
Let me tell you something.
some of these athletes are too goddamn emotional, especially Draymond Green. Draymond Green threatening to retire to Adam Silver is the most pathetic, most entitled shit I've ever heard. The man got 12 game suspension. He should have got 20. And he's talking about, oh, Adam, I can't take it. Pause. I can't take it. He didn't say the pause, but I'm adding it in. But, you know, it's like, come on, man. These guys are such dweebs. Some of these athletes cannot take criticism, and it's strictly about the game. It's like, stop crying to us, bro. We don't care. We really don't care. We want to see you perform on the court, and if you don't, we're gonna have some criticism, and that's just us analyzing the game, man. Like, we don't care, man.
Crying to me, and I'm not having that.
But I swear to you, on everything that I love, it's not personal. I'm a sports reporter and sports commentator. That is what I have been throughout my career. It is my responsibility to tell you what I see through my lens, how I feel about it, what my perspective is, etc. It's not like I'm sitting at home with absolutely nothing to do and no obligation to touch on anything, but I feel the need to invoke and ingratiate my thoughts, opinions, etc., upon the world. I actually get paid to do this. And because of that, sometimes my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings, etc., are things that you would not like. But I have never lied to you. Ever.
Now, he may have thought he may think he's never lied, but he may have lied. I've lied by accident before, so it's not like I'm purposely lying. I guess that's something different. Then I just made a mistake, but yeah, I'll give that to him.
If I wrote a story or I wrote an article, it's based on the things that I've been told, what I've seen, and what I feel. It is rare that I talk about myself on a personal level because my personal life is not anybody's business and I don't get into other people's personal life. It's not something that I do. Many figures in the world of sports find themselves in personal situations, not lawlessness, not unlawful things or anything like that, but There's plenty of situations.
Okay, no, I got to bring back that buzzer. Somebody lied to us. Somebody lied to us at ESPN or something, because 1.5 points per game, but you played one game. That doesn't add up. Or was Malika and them just playing a joke on Stephen A to shit on him and his personal stats? There was somebody lied to us. Either ESPN and their numbers board, Stephen A and he only played one game, then he played 0 games. It doesn't add up. There's one lie there at least a lie.
Michael, Sherry, Juvie, where I've seen certain things and I turned a blind eye and a deaf ear to it because it's none of my business. And I leave it alone. And one of the other things that I never do, I never attack my colleagues. I might disagree with something somebody says or does, and I might have an obligation to speak on it because it's in the news or whatever, but I don't speak against my colleagues.
I fuck with Stephen A. I'm definitely on his side when it comes to this whole Jason Whitlock shit. But I don't know about this. The Max Kellerman situation. You spoke on Max Kellerman. You said that he was not the right. He wasn't disparaging him. He wasn't I'll give him that.
Once humanity comes into play, that's a given. Here's the other. That's not real work. Think about this for a second. I'm supposed to be covering sports, but I make a career out of talking about my colleagues. That ain't work. That's you finding some slick way to get a check because you can't.
That's facts. And KN, that's facts too. That's why I had to switch my opinion on that, because the situation was business. He wasn't disparaging him. He wasn't going out of his way to talk negatively on Max. He was just explaining the work situation and why Max was no longer on First Take and the moves that he did or he took to speak to the bosses to have him removed because he didn't think that the show was growing, felt stagnant, he wanted something different. So he wasn't disparaging him. That doesn't count. So I'll give him that. He doesn't speak negatively about his colleagues. I've never heard him speak negatively about his colleagues, even in situations where he should have. When a few of the women at ESPN tried him in a certain way, I'm not even going to bring that back up, but it's like he should have spoken out about, or he could have spoken out about it, but he didn't. So
can't get a job. That's Jason Whitlock. That's who the hell he is.
I missed that.
Because you can't get a job. That's Jason Whitlock. That's who the hell he is.
He then, at another point in the conversation,
hold up. I'm happy that everybody could admit that and see that now. That it was the right thing to get rid of Max. The show is so much better right now than it was when Max Kellerman was there, especially with Shannon Sharpe there now. You got like the two biggest voices in sports media, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe, on the same show. Highest rated show on television, on sports television for any time slot, highest rated show on ESPN. So it's like, what are we doing out here? And this guy he had the gumption to say, oh, he didn't qualify to be an underling under this nigga, and he's on a dusty YouTube channel. Like, what are we talking about, sir? Stephen A. Smith has been on the platform for 6 months, and he already has more subscribers than Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock, politely, sir.
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
Eyes on Molly Karam's shoulder this morning.
Wait, well, you keep Molly's name out your mouth, sir. What are you doing out here? Man.
Play the clip.
One other thing, there are people out there lying and actually putting out there that I didn't write my book. I can assure you, so help me God. I wrote my book. It's my memoir. It's my life story. I wasn't leaving that in the hands of
would you
other
ignore people? You wrote for a living.
lies.
You were a columnist for many years. Don't even.
No.
Don't.
That's facts, Gray Pill. This is the same fat piece of shit Jason Whitlock that was kissing Pearl's ass in wake of the Plantation Pearl saga. Kissing her ass, saying, oh, she was a gem. Low-key trying to flirt with her. Pearl was feeling awkward. At one point, Pearl even said this.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
All right, that's complete cap.
Stop the cap.
She didn't say that at all, but
It's a total fabrication.
her face gave that expression when this nigga was trying to hit on her, and that's Pearl. Pearl's dusting it up with no options.
Even
No,
acknowledge
I'm just
that.
saying.
Let's
I'm just
go.
saying.
Yeah, you're better than that. Let's go.
Let's
go.
No, you can acknowledge it. It's okay. You just
Stephen A.
point out how they're lying.
And I know exactly who you're talking about. But why does it bother him? You're not going to buy the book. You're not going to read the book. So why do you care? You spend so much time. People spend so much time worrying about other people and what they're doing in their lives. If you realize how little people actually cared about you, you start worrying about them.
Yeah. Listen, people lie about me all the time. I like God.
So at some, Molly throws in, she lets God fight her battles, and Stephen A. did as well.
Now, I have sat back for years, at least 9 to 10 years, saying absolutely nothing about this man. I never uttered the words fat bastard out of my mouth until a few months ago. So that means that the previous 9 years, you never heard me speak on him at all. But now it's necessary. Excuse me. Because you see, if you listen to the fat bastard, I didn't play high school ball, even though my coach's name was Harvey Stoller. It was Thomas A. Edison Vocational and Technical High School. I played there my senior year. I was in a basketball tournament at Fashion Institute of Technology where I dropped 27 points and got a scholarship because the coach came calling me after that and what have you.
Respectfully, Stephen A. Smith.
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
That drop was slightly delayed, but hey, what's going on with this? It is what it is. Yeah, we don't care about none of this. Like, he's defending these points, but it's like, bro, that's how he baits you into this. It's like your high school, your upbringing, you playing basketball, like you're a sports commentator. You do ESPN First Take and various other shows for you cover the NBA finals. Like you're speaking to players after, you're covering it like a journalist. We don't really care about what you did basketball wise, but you know, it is what it is.
If you listen to him, I never had a scholarship to Winston-Salem State, even though it's on the books. Just call the university. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an honorary doctorate member. I have an honorary doctorate from Winston-Salem State University because of my contributions to Winston-Salem State. I'm called Dr. Smith. Has something to also do with the contributions that I make because I believe about upliftment.
Now, this is all factual. You can go on their website right now and see Stephen A. Smith on the front page where you can verify this for yourself. So, easily verifiable. Let's get it.
I'm an ambassador for HBCU Week, and I've partnered with Ashley Christopher and Mir Persicki in Delaware and others to generate over 10,000 scholarships in excess of over $65 million in scholarships for African Americans.
I'm pretty sure there's an excerpt on the front page of that same website I was referencing for the school that also verifies that. So once again.
But this man will tell you I'm lying. He even went so far as to say my autobiography, where I talk about my mother, my father, my sisters, the business, my hiring and firing and rehiring at ESPN. I didn't write it. I didn't write my own memoir, which, by the way, is a New York Times bestseller, something he wouldn't know anything about. Did you know that it's now on paperback?
Like, this is different if it's a random troll or a random YouTuber that never worked with Stephen A., was never in the industry, in the business with Stephen A., never worked at ESPN or Fox that was saying this. If it's somebody that was once your colleague, somebody that snaked you in the business that's coming out making these fabrications on your name, it's a little different, especially when he's doing it for 9-10 years and he's picking up a level of validity with some NFL players that are kind of rejected from the mainstream media, the Warren Sapps of the world, and other folks who are relegated to couches like Vlad or other. They're not really welcome in the mainstream media. He's picking up traction with folks like that. So, well, I'm just throwing dirt on Warren Sapp's name. I don't know if he's not welcome in the mainstream media. I'm not going to shit on Warren Sapp like that. I just haven't seen him around for a while. It seems like he's been I can't say that for fact. That's kind of conjecture, but let's get back into this.
It just came out yesterday on paperback. Do you know that you can go to Amazon.com, StraightShooterBook.com, or a bookstore nearest you to get my book in paperback? Do you know that when people are normally selling 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 copies, I've sold over 400,000? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? But he will tell you, I didn't write it. He's seen my writing. Really? This article is an article written on Deadspin.com. The title, How Jason Whitlock is Poisoning ESPN's Black Grant Land.
We know Jason Whitlock is a proven coon. We've seen it. We've witnessed it time and time again, and it's active currently. Let's get it.
Because remember, Bill Simmons, who's now at Spotify doing a great job, obviously had Grantland at ESPN, and upon his departure, Jason Whitlock was supposed to take up the mantle and create a black website for folks. This article was written by a Greg Howard, published on April 27th, 2015. The same Jason Whitlock that said he's seen my writing, the same Jason Whitlock that implied that I couldn't write, the same Jason Whitlock that said that I'm lying. What does this man do? Why would I call up this article? There's a plethora of reasons why I would do so, ladies and gentlemen. One of the reasons would be because it's as in-depth as it gets about how scurrilous, how trifling, how despicable this man is.
No, me
but there's also another reason that I'd pick up this article.
Oh, shit, that's as high as it goes?
Let me read the graph to you that it says. Keep in mind, Stephen A. can't write. This staff, the one Whitlock was praising by way of warnings that if the writers and editors wouldn't align with his vision, he would get rid of them, was not the one Whitlock wanted. The Undefeated, because that was the name of the title before it ultimately became Andscape. The Undefeated was originally meant to attract the best and brightest young black talent in the country, with Whitlock's aim set so high that he at one point seriously tried to recruit the Atlantic's Ta-Nehisi Coates, the sharpest cultural commentator in the business today. As things were...
Shout out to Jay the Informant with the $2 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Jay the Informant says, Jason Fatlock... Oh, Jay the Informant. Why do I keep calling you the... Jay the Informant says, Jason Fatlock is a fat Faison lie coon.
Worked out, though, those young writers comprehensively refused to work with him. So did big-name ESPNers like Howard Bryant, Jamel Hill, and Stephen A. Smith.
One more time, chat.
Did big commentator in the business today. As things worked out, though, those young writers comprehensively refused to work with him. So did big-name ESPNers like Howard Bryant, Jamel Hill, and Stephen A. Smith. I couldn't write, huh?
Now.
To this day.
That was an article written in the past where it lamented the fact that they didn't want to work with Jason Whitlock in any capacity as a writer. So when he tries to get on his platform and belittle Stephen A. Smith and talk about, oh, he's not good enough to be a writer under Jason Whitlock standards, it's like, bro, he is the number one sports commentator, sports analyst, speaker in sports entertainment right now on TV, on ESPN, on TV, period. So it's like, what are we talking about? In the game, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe stand alone at the top. Even above Skip Bayless right now. So what are we talking about out here? They're not good enough to work for you? Bro, you can't even get on the C list, the D list on a Fox, on a FS1. You couldn't get the shitty time slot after Colin Cowherd. What are we talking about?
While you were on Blaze TV, spewing that bullshit to people, did you tell them that? Did you tell them how you stood outside of First Take begging me to talk to you?
You hear this? Begging outside of First Take for him to speak.
Did you tell them that? Did you tell them how you stood outside of First Take begging me to talk to you? Did you tell them that once this same article in Deadspin came out, weeks later you wrote a lengthy apology to me in an email, begging me to forgive you, pointing out how you were betrayed by this particular writer, so you know how I must feel that you betrayed me? Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that? Got the names. We got Jamel Hill. We got Howard Bryant. You want me to bring up the other writers that were shit? Me. Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that? Got the names. We got Jamel Hill. We got Howard Bryant. You want me to bring up the other writers that wouldn't work for you? Why it took you nearly 2 years to get an article out? Because you ran that shit so bad you were running it into the ground? What a disgrace you were to John.
Whoa. 2 years to get an article out, sir?
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Skipper, the former boss of ESPN, or the host of others. You want me to talk about that? Because I got receipts. I got the email. Want me to talk about that? Now, just for everybody that wants to understand, how could this possibly be? Because once upon a time, I actually tried to speak up for this damn cretin. I knew he was a piece of shit.
Yep, that's facts, man. That's the worst type of snake out there. When they try to snake you publicly and then come to you and beg privately. It's like, nah, nigga, take that bullshit ass pathetic begging to the public airways, and instead of trying to disparage somebody's character. Shout out to Mike with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Mike says, so he publicly blasts the dude, but privately gets on his knees begging for forgiveness. Dude is, oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Dude is a rat and a snake. That reminds me of somebody.
Here is my name, Claudio Rafael Silva Landim. My full name.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Although that, you know what? We'll get into that motherfucker later, but let's get into this. Pause.
But I said, look, maybe he's misunderstood. Why would I do that, ladies and gentlemen? Because sometimes as black folks, we get in our own way. We think that all of us must be of one monolithic thinking, that we need to be completely and totally aligned. And any deviation from that brings into question our quote-unquote blackness. Martin Luther King was a man of peace. Malcolm X was by any means necessary. They can't possibly be on the same page.
Yo, shout out to Stephen A with this tweet, or with this speech. But let me get into this super chat real quick. We're gonna run this speech back a good 10 seconds so we can get into this in full. Hold up. Shout out to Brother Jumbie. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, shout out to Brother Jumbie with that $10 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Shout out to Brother Jumbie and Stay Gold Radio. Y'all go over there and subscribe to Stay Gold Radio. If y'all enjoyed Brother Jumbie when Brother Jumbie jumps up on the panel and gives his speeches and does what Brother Jumbie does, you enjoy Brother Jumbie's content, go over there and subscribe to Stay Gold Radio. Shout out to Brother Jumbie with the $10 super chat. Brother Jumbie says LTTV got a Neo Soul beanie on. Hey, yo, what the hell? A Neo Soul beanie. Man was listening to Badu before the stream. Jason Whitlock is a damn porch monkey, and I'm glad someone called the sack head. Wait, what? Called the sack head said it. I hate a private apology ass nigga. That's facts. That's facts. You want to violate publicly, but you want to give this private fucking apology. Like, get that bullshit out of here. And it wasn't just the email. The man was physically outside of ESPN begging.
Quote unquote blackness. Martin Luther King was a man of peace. Malcolm X was by any means necessary. They can't possibly be on the same page. Even though their agenda.
Yo, do y'all know how cold it is out here? That beanie is temporary, bro. It's cold as shit, nigga. What the hell?
Was for the upliftment and the preservation of our race of people. So I understand when we talk about stuff like this, how people can sit up there and say, how did it get to this? How did it get to this? Remember when I got suspended years ago? You know what's out there writing stuff, smiling in my face 1 minute, talking smack about me behind my back, and then ultimately writing it? It was him. Remember when I supposedly used people were speculating that he used the N-word on the air and all of this other stuff? He was the first one out there trying to say that I did it. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't do it on the air. In my humble opinion. I'm telling you that.
The man said in his opinion. You're not even sure if you said nigga on there in your opinion, bruh. But I guess they decided he may have said, I don't know. I don't even know that incident he's referring to. Shout out to Jay the Informant with the $2 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Jay the Informant says, doubling down on the porch monkey claim by Brother Jay. So you're here to double down?
I'm here to double down.
However, it's not like I didn't use the N-word when I was off the air, when I was talking to my fellas, or I was talking to other folks who happen to be black. I am not a proponent of using that word often, nor am I advocating that that word be used now. I mean, are you white? Brothers talk like that to one another.
Absolutely.
All right, all of a sudden y'all don't know that?
Like, come on, man. Wow. The fuck? Yeah, niggas talk to each other like that. You're gonna hear a niggas talk to it. What are we doing out here? We're gonna say that word on our off time, and you're not gonna debate it or say anything about that. I don't care who the bosses are. This is my off time, nigga. I'm saying what the fuck I want to say. Who the hell do you think you are? So, of course, I'm on Stephen A's side on that. But Whitlock's ass, you don't know what Whitlock was on. You already know what side Whitlock was on that. Whitlock comes around looking like Uncle Ruckus. Goddamn, where's the music, man?
Or I was talking to other folks who happen to be black. I am not a proponent of using that word often, nor am I advocating that that word be used now. I'm just acknowledging the guilt that comes associated with me in terms of when I was younger. But I was always saying we as black people communicate how we want to communicate with each other. I love John Wooten, who's been associated with the Fritz Alliance, the Fritz Alliance, Fritz Pollard Alliance. Love that man. Love his contributions to the NFL. But when we would get into it in the past on rare occasions, it wasn't that he wanted the eradication of the N-word, because I support that. My issue with him was, hey, you shouldn't be encouraging the NFL to fine us and penalize us for using it amongst ourselves. How can a race of people who actually made the word iniquitous be in a position to punish us for using the word?
That's what I always say. I always say this. If you are a white person or any other type of race that tries to say that black people should not use that word, especially the whites who made the word iniquitous, they say, yo, you should not use that word. Oh, freedom of speech. We should be able to use it too. It's like, my nigga, what the fuck?
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about
you. Get no say on that. What are we doing out here? It's like you have to be racist or a goddamn idiot to even broach the subject of even trying to consider to censor how black folks speak to each other. It's like you don't get that. What the hell? What kind of entitled bullshit is that?
One another. I had a problem with that, and I stand by that. But I digress. My point is, in bringing up all of that, Jason Whitlock pounced on it. Because that's what he does. You see, what he does is He's the one that puts himself in front of white folks. The white folks, not all white folks, not most white folks, but the white folks that dare we say may have a problem with black folks. He says, I'm your man.
Yup.
I've seen him do it.
That's what he does. You think I'm lying? Ask ESPN.
Yup.
He did that shit. Guilty as fuck.
Ask Fox. Ask the Kansas City Star.
Ask anybody on YouTube. Ask everybody that witnessed him jump in front of Pearl, trying to elevate Pearl, talking about, oh, you're a gem, X, Y, and Z. It's like, my nigga, shut the hell up, man. What are we doing?
You're done.
Ask them all. Jamel Hill. Rob Parker. Chris Broussard. Skip Bayless. Yours truly.
Now, when folks make arguments like this, when folks make the arguments that he came at Kyrie a certain way, the same, because I've criticized him for his Kyrie arguments until I understood the industry a lot more. The way folks come at Malika Andrews for her rhetoric, y'all need to come at ESPN with all that energy. These are employees. These are folks that are in a market that is cornered. They have it monopolized. If you're not working for ESPN, you're working at something that is secondary at best. And then you're out of the industry. Like Jason Whitlock, dusting it up. So it's like, you got to do what you got to do as a journalist. They're asking you these questions. You're an employee. Look at them as a figurehead for ESPN. If he's on his own platform or on their podcasts, asking these questions, acting like this, giving these type of stance, then you got to look at him funny. But Stephen A. Smith has done features, he's done interviews, he's supported independent media, he's done podcasts, he's done Flagrant 2, he's done a bunch of podcasts. He supports independent media, and he speaks more like how he does on the Stephen A. Smith show, and when he's supporting independent media. So he's definitely, people want to talk like he's disparaged black folks. He's giving criticism to NFL players, NBA players, executives, and folks alike. The Kyrie criticism was inordinate. He was doing his job as a spokesperson for ESPN, trying to lay the lashes, but we have to understand that we got to bring the animus for ESPN in cases like that, especially in cases when Malika Andrews is just reading off the teleprompter somebody's charges arbitrarily, and you're like, wait, why is she reading this nigga's charges for? And it's like, she's an employee for ESPN. Do you not want to have any black faces representing you on TV, or do you want it to be filled with white folks saying the same rhetoric and you're just complaining? It makes no goddamn sense. Some people just don't get it sometimes. They don't understand the media, but it is what it is. Let's get back into this.
Along with a host of black folks all over this country, every single one of them will confirm what the hell I'm saying about this piece of garbage.
And there's a difference between what Stephen A. does, Malika Andrews does, and what Jason Whitlock did on his platform. There is a vast difference. This guy got on his platform speaking about social issues, talking about George Floyd died of fentanyl, being unaccountable for the officers that are killing innocent black folks. Like, this guy's a piece of shit. When they're talking about he's cooning it up and he's doing X, Y, and Z, there's no example of him taking the right side on any type of matter. He's always dusting it up on the coon side. He's exactly the way Stephen A. described him, wanting to be that person, that putting his hands up for the racist person, to spit rhetoric against his own community. He is that guy. We have a decade of evidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a black man, I often told y'all, I cannot imagine, as a black man, knowing our history, anything worse than a white supremacist. That is, until Jason Whitlock came along. He's worse than them. He is the worst, most despicable, lying, no good, fat ass human being I have ever known in my life. And I'm going to take a break, because I got more in a minute. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show, right here on YouTube. Don't go away.
Draymond Green has taken him out of context, and by lumping me in, fat bastard, he's saying that I've taken him out of context, and he's also trying to say to people that I'm going to ignore Jason Whitlock because Shannon Sharp and the people at ESPN have said, hey, man, Whitlock's way outside your weight class. Don't fight him. But Stephen A., loves to do this tough guy routine. Stephen A., I'm not afraid of anybody.
Bro, what are you talking about?
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
So now you're saying he's trying to be a tough guy when you were talking shit about him for a goddamn decade? What are we talking about?
I'm from Hollis, Queens. And so that's Stephen A. posturing as a tough guy.
Listen, y'all. If y'all want to debate me on Stephen A's takes, or you want to call up into the show, y'all are free to call in. The call-in link is it's pinned to the top of the chat. I'm not absolving Stephen A. of his terrible takes at times and his terrible political views at times. He's had those, but he's had many moments where he stood up for black folks, stood up for black coaches, black executives, black quarterbacks. He is not comparable at all to Jason Whitlock. He has his flaws. Many folks do. Well, I can't say many folks. All folks do.
And justifying why I'm not going to respond to the things Jason Whitlock is saying.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. I will remind everybody that as I'm sitting here talking about Mr. Jason Whitlock, first of all, it will never happen again. He's irrelevant. He's not important. He's insignificant, and he knows it. And he did all of this to try and bait me into all of this stuff. I know that's how people are looking at it. My family and friends and everybody thinks the same thing. My point is I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I've been holding it in for nearly 10 years. And so there comes a point in time where at the very least, at least one time, you have to address it. It's necessary. It's important. Okay? And as we sit here today talking about this subject, there's certain things that we just don't need to let go. We just don't need to let go. Because there comes a point in time when enough's enough. And that time has arrived. Getting back into him and to really elaborate extensively on us. Ladies and gentlemen, John Skipper, the former boss for ESPN, wanted to start this website.
All right, so Jason says that Stephen A. is under review. The only thing Stephen A. is under review for is this comment right here.
If this brother had a few more inches, oh, Lord, don't get me salivating and fantasizing about things. Oh, my God.
Stick together. Pause. Knows he can have it. Pause. You see what I do when I got the rock. Pause.
Let me just put this in real quick.
This is Daniel, by the way.
Now, Stephen A., that was zesty as shit. If you just added a pause there, sir, like Jesus Christ. So that's not a real gripe. That's not a real gripe. That's just a joke. That's just a joke. That shit was zesty as shit. Let's get it, man.
And if you remember, when the Undefeated first came into existence, it was labeled the premier platform for intelligent analysis and celebration of black culture and the African American struggle for equality. That's what it was labeled as. Now that I read you that quote, let me give you a quote that this guy, Greg Howard, has a recording of Jason Whitlock saying to his staff at that time. If you're more comfortable working for white people rather than working for me, and that sounds humorous, but it's the truth, fine. This is according to audio obtained by Deadspin.
Okay, so this is Jason Whitlock saying this, and this is according to an audio obtained by Deadspin. You see how these reporters have their files and shit? Like, us YouTubers, we got to get some papers, man. This shit looks...
Greg Howard has a recording of...
I don't know. There's just something about physically picking up the paper and reading something off the paper. It just makes the receipt seem like it's more damning evidence. I don't know, man.
Jason Whitlock saying to his staff at that time, if you're more comfortable working for white people rather than working for me, and that sounds humorous, but it's the truth,
I forgot Jason Whitlock is speaking, so
Fine. This is according to audio obtained by Deadspin back in 2015. Some black people are far more comfortable answering to a white person than a black person, no matter how black they like to pass themselves off to be. Far more comfortable because they know a white person is going to overlook their shortcomings. It's good for a Negro. I'm not about that. But if you're more comfortable working for a white person, I will find a white person for you to work for. We have a higher standard here. Everybody has to get on board with that, or I'm going to find a way to move them someplace else. That was Jason Whitlock. And then he went out and hired a senior writer and editor, Mike Wise, who's white. This is the man that's in charge of black culture. Why can I say that?
And that's why they wrote the article of Jason Whitlock poisoning black grant land, because he was ahead of that, and that's the rhetoric that he was spewing to his employees. What the fuck was that, man? The first time I heard that, I was like, what the hell was that? Is this guy serious? Who in the hell would employ Jason Whitlock for that position in the first place? And that's what he's doing. Like, we would, man, it's predictable that would be his behavior, but it's like, why would you employ Jason Whitlock for that position? But, you know, this was the past. Let's get back into this.
By the way, I'm not casting any aspersions against Mike Wise. I'm cool with him. I've always been cool with him. He used to work for the New York Times, used to cover the Knicks long before he moved on to the Washington Post. He's a credible journalist. I have nothing negative to say about him. I'm just saying, black website, but you bring in your white friend. In part because black folks didn't want to work for you. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, how serious I am? Am I? I have a contract that I negotiated with ESPN and I signed in 2015. I don't know of anyone who has this in their contracts. I had it in my contract, and I have a copy of it, where it specifically stipulates that I never work with Jason Whitlock.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
You hear that, Whitlock?
You're done.
Holy, yeah.
I had it in my contract, and I have a copy of it, where it specifically stipulates that I never work with Jason Whitlock. It's in writing.
Now, to be the face of ESPN and have it in writing that you never work with Jason Whitlock, it's like, Jason Whitlock, you're done. There's no room for you at ESPN at all. And that was a while ago. And they didn't want him at ESPN. They didn't even want him at FS1. So it's like, either way. But it's like, this is the same type of shit that Cat Williams did to Ricky Smiley. He said, if Ricky Smiley's in a movie with me, then he has to be wearing a dress.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
I am delivered.
He has Ricky Smiley in full zest mode every time he's in a movie with him. But it's like, it's written in his contract where he doesn't work with them at all. So it's like the same shit. Yeah, first Cat Williams, now Stephen A. Shit is different in 2014 or 2024.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
2024 is like the meta is stolen from my channel. That's how I'm looking at everything. Oh, it's exposed and cook everybody. I'm like, oh, say everybody's doing this, so the meta is my channel. What I do on my channel is what we're doing on everybody's channel. What the hell is going on out here?
Oh, yes. The camera loves your nastiness.
No wonder you didn't see him on First Take. You didn't see him on Undisputed with Skip Bayless either. Skip Bayless wouldn't allow him on there. You didn't see him on Numbers Never Lie either. Jamel Hill and Michael Smith wouldn't allow him on there. Christopher Broussard for Fox Sports and Fox Sports Radio. Let me take a moment to tell you about Chris Broussard.
Yeah, everybody knows Chris Broussard is the resident nice guy, the religious nice guy. If Chris Broussard doesn't like you, there's probably something wrong with you. That's the word around the industry. It's like, if he ain't fucking with you, bro, it's like, what the hell's going on?
If Chris Broussard were not in this industry, do you know where he'd probably be? probably, because I don't know for sure, but probably be, y'all, in a monastery. He's one of the most religious, God-fearing, decent human beings you will ever encounter. It doesn't get any better than Christopher Broussard. And he can't stand Jason Whitlock. Look around. Don't y'all notice why black people scurry away whenever this roach of an individual is around named Whitlock? Because we know what he is. We know what he is. Blaze TV. You may not know. Glenn Beck.
Think about it. He's such a piece of shit. He just wants to basically dim everybody else. He's trying to shine, to try to elevate himself. He always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Meanwhile, he's an idiot. Whoa. He came to YouTube, and folks that would seemingly align with his ideology, folks that would be like the more right-wing, more conservative, more hard on black folks when it comes to their rhetoric, the folks like Anton Daniels, the folks like Tommy Sotomayor, he couldn't even keep relationships with them. He tried to play them when they did shows together. So he burned bridges with YouTube with the folks that you would think that he would align with. He can't align with anybody. Not in the mainstream industry, sports media, not in YouTube, not anywhere. He's just burning bridges, just dusting it up. He has no pack to fit in. He's not really trying to elevate anybody but himself.
Dave Rubin, the great one himself, Mark Levin. I bring up Blaze TV, which is where Whitlock works, because I want Blaze TV to understand I'm not talking about you. I know you're a conservative, I get all of that. I'm not judging accordingly. I know Mark Levin well. We have
even Sus Marquardt has friends in the Red Pill and alliances and things that he creates. He's still cool with Fresh and Fit and various other dweebs in the Red Pill space. So it's like even he has his own little hub, where Jason Whitlock has no relationships in any industry. And they try to say, oh, he's blackballed. You should look at the industry. It's all this go along to get along shit in every industry. It's like, yeah, there's a level of that in every industry in entertainment, but in sports, in the sports entertainment business, Jason Whitlock is guilty for all of his bridges being burned. It's not the other folks. If everybody's saying it and there's nobody to defend you, and they're bringing fact after fact and proof after proof, it's like, what are we supposed to do with that as the viewing audience? We're supposed to be like, oh no, Jason Whitlock's right. He averaged 1.5 points per game in high school or in college. It's like, why the fuck do we care about what Stephen A. averaged in college as a basketball player? Why is that relevant? We're more interested in the interpersonal relationships in the industry and how people maneuver as businessmen. We're more interested in that. And Whitlock begging for job opportunities behind scenes and then getting on air trying to act like he denied folks and they're not qualified for his standards. For his standards. Number one on ESPN is not qualified for Whitlock dusting it up on YouTube with less subscribers than Stephen A., who made his channel 6 to 7 months ago. Like, what are we talking about out here? Some folks are just goofy as fuck. They're literally lost. They're delusional.
One another on speed dial. We talk all the time. The same applies to Sean Hannity, the Andrew Wilkows of the world. Okay? I talk to these folks. I'm not one of those people that's married to one side or the other. And decent people are everywhere. Be careful that you don't get yourself stained and stenched by Whitlock. He can do that to people. He is the worst. He's not ethical. He's not moral. Clearly, based over what I've told you about me, he's also not factual most of the time. He will lie.
That is facts, Lee. Let me pull this up right here. Hopefully this loads quick enough. He will lie. That's facts, Stephen A. Smith. This right here. Got fired from Fox when he tried to blame black single mothers for Tyree Nichols' death. Yeah, he did. And that's where he even got... Anton went and debated him on that, and he got cooked by Anton. It's like, how you getting cooked by Anton, bro? You're having a bad day out here. But it's like... It's black women's fault for everything. It's single mothers' fault for everything. He's trying to ride home with these talking points, and that's why he's trying to do some conservative grift on YouTube now. He's no longer trying to speak on sports. That's why he's trying to lament that Stephen A. Smith is doing this book and trying to basically plant seeds within his book and his new direction into politics. He's basically accusing Stephen A. of doing these things, hiring writers for his book, setting up seeds, planting seeds for an image so he can try to switch into some political grift. And it's like Stephen A. is #1 in sports television. What the hell are you talking about, fat man? But let's get it.
Will denigrate, and he will turn against anyone to serve his own good. The real reason, and casting no aspersions on what Blaze TV presents and what it has to offer, the real reason he's there is because he can't get a job anywhere else. He hasn't burnt bridges, he's napalmed them. Call Eric Shanks and Charlie Dixon at Fox. Call
Now you're saying Angry Man supporting him? Angry Man's gonna learn the hard way, man. He's gonna learn. He's gonna learn real fast and not fuck with this motherfucker.
Pitaro, Burke Magnus, Dave Roberts, Norby Williamson at ESPN. Call him. Call him. Call John Skipper at Meadowlark Media. I'm giving you names. I'm giving you names. That's just I already gave you on-air talent names. I gave you reporters and on-air talent. Ladies and gentlemen, this same Jason Whitlock that wants to talk smack about me is the same Jason Whitlock that wanted to hire me. It's the same Jason Whitlock that stood outside doors trying to get me and coax me into even having a conversation with them because they knew I was so disgusted with him, presumably after he hit a strip club, because we all know ain't nobody trying to go out with him. Okay? The same Jason Whitlock, that guy, is the same guy that sent both Dan Lebertard and Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, the two-time champion, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, now working on NBA TV. That guy, that same Jason Whitlock, sent those folks to talk to me. Please, is there something that can be worked out? Can you forgive him? Can you talk to him? My words and my promise to them was that I want nothing to do with him. I will never hurt him from getting opportunities, but I'll be damned if I'm going to help him by being associated with him in any way. Do you know why I said that, ladies and gentlemen? As black people.
Yo, I'm not supporting any coon. I ain't supporting any chest out coon that loves to disparage our community and is always finding a way to fit in some sort of slant to shit on black women, black men. Subservient as, like, man, the way he describes him and the way we see him, he is worse than a white supremacist because he's a black man trying to be a white supremacist. He's trying to be Uncle Ruckus. Any folk that tries to emulate the Uncle Ruckus type of personality, man,
I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
And I guess I was wrong. I should say at this particular moment in time, I was wrong to call him a fat bastard or a roach and all of this other stuff, because that's not my name for him. My name for Jason Whitlock is religiously Cain. C-A-I-N. You see, a lot of black folks, we talk about how we're the original man on the face of this earth. Well, that means Cain was the original murderer, because he's the one, according to the Bible, who killed Abel. That's Jason Whitlock. There is nothing good about him. Absolutely nothing.
Jesus Christ.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
And I challenge anybody that knows anything about him to refute what I'm saying. I have the facts. They're all here.
You see what I'm talking about? Yo, when you got the papers, man, I'm just merely talking for dramatic effect. People are talking about it looks pretentious with the papers. Nah, the dramatic effect that it brings for the show when you got the papers, man, it's like you got all the files on this motherfucker. And as he said that, we are still waiting for somebody. We are waiting for anybody to validate Jason Whitlock's character. Say how he's a stand-up guy. He's X, Y, and Z. He does business honorably. He has integrity. He has some sort of moral standard. We're still waiting. We are still waiting.
To this day. To this day. To this day.
Stephen A. got him on this one because it's like nobody's speaking out for him. Nobody fucks with him like that.
I know what he's done. The biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that John Skipper could have ever made as the former boss of ESPN was hiring that man. Everyone knows it. That's why he attacks ESPN. That's why he attacks colleagues and contemporaries in the industry. It's not just because he thinks he's smarter. It's not just because he's fearful of anybody smarter than him in the same room. It's not just because of those reasons. It's because...
It's true because I seen it when Tommy Sotomayor was on his platform. He did not want to get in any type of intellectual debate with Tommy Sotomayor at all. He wanted to disparage Tommy's his character and talk about, oh, you did this on Fresh and Fit, you did X, Y, and Z, and it's like, bro, that's not what you invited him on the show for. You felt insecure as shit. And that's what it comes down to. And I'm not here to cape for Tommy. I'm just calling it objectively.
He truly despises us all. It's who he is. And the funny part about it is, when he sits up there and he says, you know, I can't do this or I can't do that. Look, I'm 56 years old. If y'all think now that I'm successful in this business, that I got to sit here and lie about me playing basketball in high school to write in my own damn memoir, at this point in time in my life, I can't help y'all. I'm not going to waste my time with that silliness. What I would say to you, however, is this.
I wish he did this from the start and didn't even try to validate his basketball career. I wish he just said that from the start, because it's like, man, fuck all that shit. I'm not going to validate shit. Fuck all that. Y'all want to dig into it? Go ahead. Nobody really gives a shit.
I have a bestseller. Where's his? I got let go by ESPN and they brought me back. They won't let him in within city limits. I'm telling you what I know. How'd the Fox thing work out? When he was on the air arguing with Christopher Broussard or arguing with Marcellus Wiley? What happened to him? He wants to talk about me. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, he'd give anything to have my job. He'd give anything to have my resume. He ain't on ESPN. I got the #1 show. Where his show do? How his show do? You ever see this despicable dude on television?
See, this is the problem. When you are shooting up because you want clout and clicks off of somebody else's name, you always got to be aware if they strike back and they're like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm going to step on this motherfucker. You always got to be aware that they have more influence, more fans, a bigger platform to speak on you. Like, you can get shitted on real quick fucking around with the wrong person, especially if you're in the wrong. Like, if you're shooting up and you're covering folks and you're giving your opinion on folks that are a lot larger than you, but you're just giving an objective breakdown that only the person will be mad about if they're insecure in their position, then it's like the fans are going to look at the person that's on a larger platform like, yo, you're hating, allow the person to give their opinion. This is what they do, X, Y, and Z. But when you're coming at folks completely wrong and you're thinking, oh, they're not going to respond, let me just get my clicks off of this shit for 10 years, and then they respond with all the facts and all the files, it's like, bro, you're getting cooked out here.
I'm not even getting into how difficult he is to look at. I'm saying, have you ever listened to him?
All right, bro. All right.
Stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Pause.
Who wants them? I don't speak like this, ladies and gentlemen. But
now, as you can see, there was a cut here. He probably violated, said some shit where he's like, nah, that's not for the airways. But they cut. There wasn't a cut in there for a while. There was no jump cuts, but we just see just
getting into how difficult he is to look at. I'm saying, have you ever listened to him? Who wants him? I don't speak like this, ladies and gentlemen. But what else? What other explanation is there other than his evil, vile tendencies than you want to be me? You wish you were in this position, didn't you? Don't you? You wish you had the #1 show for 12 years, don't you? You wish you could do that, don't you? You wish you could be on national television every day, don't you? It ain't bragging. I work for it. Everybody else works for it. The only people out here trying to hurt people is you. You have literally made a career off talking about people in the industry who do what you do. In other words, you don't want to do it better. Then why don't you have a job outside of Blaze TV? Why are you at Blaze TV? Not to knock Blaze TV, but we know that's not where you want it to be. You want to be at ESPN. You want to be running a black website. You want to go to Fox. You want to be on television.
Yeah, but it's pathetic. People don't understand it. It's like you click on to watch First Take, and what First Take is doing is, okay, it's Stephen A., Molly, and Shannon Sharp speaking about Skip Bayless for 10 years. It's like, wait, we're here to watch football, bro. We're here to watch basketball commentary. Why aren't you guys having a sports debate? Why are you talking about Skip Bayless for 10 years? That's pretty much what the hell he's doing. It's like, bro, you have a sports commentary platform. You're supposed to be giving us analysis on the sports. You were a journalist. What the hell is going on? Why is it Stephen A. Smith show? Like, he's literally acting like he's a YouTuber in the beef sector. This is what he's acting like. He's a YouTuber in the beef sector. You fell that far? You're in Kwame Brown land? Is that what we're doing out here? You're dusting it up in Kwame Brown land? Oh my God, it's that bad?
God, you want to do all of these things. Jason Whitlock, what's up? Are you watching the show? I mean, it ain't Club Shay Shay where you break the internet with the Cat Williams interview, but I do pick up at least 1,500 subscribers per day. I am at over 460,000. I just started 9 months ago with my team.
All right, I've been saying 6 to 7 months ago. Erase all the commentary when I said 6 to 7 months ago. He started his channel 9 months ago, but it's still remarkable to have that many subscribers in 9 months.
You've been at it, whether it's May of 2021 or July of 2021. You've been at it since then. I've already surpassed you. Sound familiar? Because it's what I've been doing to you your entire career.
Damn. Yo, this nigga's getting cooked. Holy.
He got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Adrian, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
Shout out to Mike with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Hey, yo, pop up on the screen. What the hell is going on? Okay, hold up. There we go. Whitlock wants to be the tallest dude amongst midgets with the way he moves. That's facts. That is facts. 100% facts. Shout out to This Might Be Risky with the $10 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
This Might Be Risky says, salute to their grind. Thanks for stopping through. Shout out to This Might Be Risky and DJ Hap. We got something for This Might Be Risky. We have a reaction coming up because some chick tried to lie and play DJ Hap on some fuck shit. We definitely need to react to that. Fatty actually did a good job interrogating both of the people that were lying on the platform in regards to that show. So shout out to This Might Be Risky and DJ Hap. I don't fuck with Fatty at all. Fat piece of shit, but he actually did a good job in that show, allowing them to speak and hang themselves. I'm going to be objective and, you know, give an objective breakdown of what happened in that show. But we're definitely going to react to that show. I spoke about this in the last show, speaking about reacting to the This Might Be Risky platform and what happened in that incident. So right now I'm doing a terrible job of explaining what happened, but that's because we're going to do an entire show on that. So shout out to This Might Be Risky and DJ Hap. Let's get it.
You were a great writer. Your mistake was you started talking.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I played this nigga for literally a second and he's back into the ether. Holy. You're a great writer, then you started talking? Yo. Yo, that's like when you tell a woman you got a face made for radio. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's the equivalent. Holy ether, bruh. Ether.
Doing to you your entire career. You were a great writer. Your mistake was you started talking. And worse, wanting to be seen while you were talking. Which is why your quality and your value plummeted.
Yo, hold up. Let me adjust the OBS audio since this sound doesn't go any higher. Hold up. What the hell?
Because it's what I've been doing to you your entire career. You were a great writer. Your mistake was you started talking. And worse, wanting to be seen while you were talking. Which is why your quality and your value plummeted. Because when we see you and we listen to you, we know how worthless you are. This is a dude.
He got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Adrian, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
Hold up. Before we get back into the chat, let me make This Might Be Risky a mod, since I mod content creators that I fuck with and support their channel. I fuck with this channel. This Might Be Risky. Y'all know me. I talk shit about Manosphere and Red Pill shit all the time, but This Might Be Risky is the type of channel that they're bringing solutions and shit. Shout out to DJ Hap. Make this motherfucker a moderator real quick. You can protect yourself. No one can talk shit to you in the chat, my nigga. Let's get it.
That, according to reports, literally tried to put a tape recorder under a hotel door to spy on what Allen Iverson was having to say. According to this article in Deadspin, he plagiarized. Literally tried to put a tape recorder under a hotel door to spy on what Allen Iverson was having to say. According to this article in Deadspin, he plagiarized.
Whoa. This is career suicide right now. You're putting tape recorders under players' doors to try to get some that you can't do that as a journalist. What type of violation is that? And then you plagiarize an article as well. Yo, this guy is ethering them. And this is according to an article that we can reference ourselves. We can source this right now. What is this called?
Tried to put a tape recorder under a hotel door to spy on what Allen Iverson was having to say. According to this article in Deadspin, he plagiarized one of his own editors. Somebody with these credentials, with this history of iniquities, with this disgusting reputation, y'all want to listen to him talk about me, fine, but let me leave you with this before I get on out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, you know why he's talking about me? Because I get him clicks. That's what he's been reduced to. See, this is a passion and a hobby for me.
That is facts that he's been reduced to that, and this is a passion and hobby for Stephen A, because he doesn't need to be doing his own thing on his own platform to generate interest when he makes so much money on ESPN already, and this is something that he has to pay for and finance out of his own pocket and use his staff for the production and everything. But this is what I'm gonna do, y'all. I'm currently getting the article from Deadspin. This is what I'm doing. So everybody can go source this and double check it for themselves. Everything he's saying right now, I shared it from the LTTV network. You can verify everything Stephen A is saying in this article. I have it on another screen, so I can't share it on this screen because it's a whole nother computer. But you can verify this entire article yourself. Everything he's saying is in the article. Shout out to Stephen A. This is how journalists beef, man. You got the articles and the sources on deck. It's not mere conjecture. That's why I do reactions, so it's right in front of y'all, and y'all know I ain't talking shit about what people have said and done. But this is a great way to do it. This is the way journalists handle this shit. This is cool. Let's get into this.
I have a day job that's paying me quite well. I own and operated this. This cost me money because I invested my own money with my new studio, with my staff, and with everything that I've done to do this. He's leaning on Blaze for a check because he can't find one anywhere else.
Jesus Christ. He's still with Blaze? See, I knew that. This guy's, I'm telling you, he's on YouTube and he's an employee. He's like King Riches when he worked for Pearl. Like, the man can't find any independence himself. Stephen A. Smith Show funded it of his own thing, created by himself. Yeah, somebody said in the chat he can use his own platform to leverage more money in a deal. That's facts. That's what Club Shay Shay is. Club Shay Shay will leverage Shannon Sharp the most for when he tries to make a deal because he has that leverage. He has his own brand doing it, killing it. Hold up, y'all. I'm struggling to get to this drop. Shout out to Brother Jumbie with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Brother Jumbie from Stay Gold Radio says, if I was that McNugget built brother Jason Whitlock, I'd make a cul-de-sac head run my fade for cooking his childbearing hips like this. Violation, I say. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Brother Jumbie.
I ask any of you connected to this industry from this point forward, because I know my colleagues, they don't want to touch this subject because he's a bully, and they don't want to deal with the fallout of him constantly coming at them. I don't give a shit. He came to the one. I know what he is. I have the emails. I have the articles. I have everything. I once tried to befriend this dude. I don't talk to him because he betrayed me. As he has others. He's turned his back on Dan Le Batard. He's turned his back on all of those other colleagues that I mentioned. Ask Jamel Hill about him. Ask Dan Le Batard. Ask Chris Broussard. Let me stop naming names. Ask anybody in the industry. I can give you the names of the executives if you want. All of them. At Fox.
Whoa. The man said all of them. Not, I got a few executives I can name. He said all of them.
The executives, upon telling their subordinates that they were bringing Jason Whitlock on board, said, quote, we'll all band together and stand on the tracks in front of a train to stop it, if that would prevent you from hiring him here. He is despised. He doesn't report anymore, y'all. All he does is make noise by coming after the very people who did and still does what he once did, what he aspires to do, but no longer has the outlet to do, because he is considered a vile, despicable human being that no one wants anything to deal with. Nothing. That's who he is. I will not be speaking on him anymore. He's a liar. He's a piece of shit.
And he's at home right now watching
My
this.
apologies.
Like, oh shit, I fucked that up. Hold up, Chad.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Nah, I butchered that whole joke. Fuck. All right, let's get back into this.
Him anymore. He's a liar. He's a piece of shit. My apologies to ESPN. My apologies to my family, my friends, my staff, my employees. My apologies to Fox for staining their name by even mentioning the fact that he was once there. My apologies to John Skipper. My apologies to Dan Le Batard and Stu Gotts and their show. My apologies to Jamel Hill. I didn't even mention Kerry Champion. He was insulting to her, along with others. Whether it's Amina Kimes, whether it's Monica McNutt, it's Kimberly. He got something to say about everybody. Molly Kiram, my matriarch, for First Take, every weekday. My apologies to everybody that you had to see me out of character.
Bro, at the end of the day,
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't
the nigga deserved it. He deserved it, man.
To address this dude. But I ask for everybody indulgence for one show and one show only. And please do not allow this to be a reflection on my character, because this is not how I act every day.
That sucks, because you're a clip, bruh.
Clip it, nigga.
Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that?
Now that's going to stay... Is it done? Okay, that's done. That's going to stay around forever, man. It sucks, because if you don't want to be represented like that at all, you can't have any moments like that on the internet, because it's going to be here forever.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
I fuck with Stephen A, but he said some egregious things on the mic, and they're here forever, like this.
If this brother had a few more inches, oh, Lord, don't get me salivating and fantasizing about things. Oh, my God.
Stick together. Pause. Knows.
Things like that. That's light, that's joking type shit, but like statements like this, and when you're having the moments of profanity and you're getting in your bag cussing somebody stank, we're gonna clip it.
Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that?
Yo, the internet is absolutely undefeated.
Clip it, nigga.
Married women out here are winning. They're laughing at me, bro. They made videos about me. They're laughing at me.
You're a victim.
But I mean it from my soul when I say this is the worst human being I've ever known. I don't know of another human being worse than Jason Whitlock.
Whoa, hold up.
Clip it, nigga.
He is the worst, most despicable, lying, no good, fat ass human being I have ever known in my life.
Ah, shit.
He is a piece of shit. He's the dude that's gonna have a funeral and ain't gonna be no pallbearers. Might be 2 people to show up. He's that dude. He is the absolute worst.
Holy.
And he lies. And he incriminates. And he tries to set people up to fail, to big up himself because he can't do it on his own.
And that's exactly what he did to Tommy Sotomayor when he was trying to build a buzz back on YouTube. He tried to set him up so he tried to play Tommy. It was filthy work. It was some of the nastiest work I've seen on this platform. And here, I'm not defending anybody. I'm calling it how I seen it. That was some filthy fucking work, man.
He had a television show. He failed. He's had opportunities one time after another. He doesn't measure up. And now he's coming after Big Dog. And let me tell you something right now. I am the big dog. I ain't the only one. I ain't the only one. There's plenty. Skip Bayless, apologies to him too for bringing up Jason Whitlock's name in the same sentence as him. But we all know what time it is. Everyone knows. All the executives at all the networks, they know what a piece of shit he is.
I don't think y'all understand something. The man is saying all. He is saying all the executives at all the networks. Not many. He's saying all. He's not leaving any wiggle room. One person comes out and speaks against it, it'll disprove what he said. He says all, and not one person has spoken out.
And they begged me not to do this. But even my pastor, A.R. Bernard, said, I'm not happy about it. But every now and then we gotta do what we gotta do. I promise you, and last to my sister Carmen, I won't do this again. I promise you. I know you cringing, you didn't want me to do this. I'm sorry, sis. It was necessary.
Now,
All due respect. disrespect, shut the hell up. I want to hear
I have one gripe with Stephen A. Smith when it comes to the interview, because he said cringing, and that raised an alarm. He said he was cringing when he seen the Shannon Sharpe, Cat Williams interview, and he said, oh, because he knows all those folks that he was getting, that Cat Williams was calling out and cooking and X, Y, and D, and they're colleagues of him, and he's cool with them, so he was cringing when he watched it. But were you cringing when they were calling out Cat Williams and disparaging his name on that same platform? If you weren't, then I don't want to hear that. But other than that, continue, sir.
He's a sorry, fat piece of shit. A no of the worst order. That's who he is. And I want to make sure everybody knows that. And I said to Isaiah Thomas, and I said to Dan Lebertard, if you care anything about our friendship, don't ever call me about him again. I'm a very forgiving person. Not with him. I don't care what beef I had. I don't care how many of you out there that hate me, whatever, former athletes, all this stuff. Man, please, I'm sorry. Because I certainly don't hate y'all. We might have our differences from time to time, but ain't never that. This is the exception. I hate this bastard. Not even, far more than a little bit. He is the worst human being any of you will ever meet.
Yo. Those are some strong words. You said you hate the man and he's the worst human being that any of us will meet. Those are some strong words. You can tell he has a certain level of animus for him that you don't see him speak about anybody else the same way. But those are some strong words.
You get within a mile of his presence. Wrap your arms around yourself to protect your soul. He is Cain. He is a devil. The worst. That's all I have to say. Y'all have a nice day. I'm gonna go about my business. I will not speak about this piece of shit again. Peace and love.
Damn. All right, so that is it, y'all. That is Stephen A. going in on Jason Whitlock, exposing everything, cooking this man. Yikes. Yikes. Hey, he deserves it, man. He's been running his mouth. And then he responded to this tonight. I was in the show. I was in the chat section running a promo in his chat section talking the most shit to try to promote this show following his show when I was watching him rebut the things that Stephen A. Smith said in the show that I'm reacting to right now. And the rebuttal was weak. He went on to continue to do the exact same thing that he did in the show prior to the show that he put on today, where he was talking about Stephen A. Smith's stats and Stephen A. Smith is lying about this on air and the jab this and that and blah, blah, blah. Same old talking points, same old shit. Didn't really rebut or refute anything Stephen A. Smith said in this stream. Just kind of scoffed at it, laughed about it a little bit, and then went on to speak about, oh, he tried to hire Stephen A., but Stephen A. wasn't up to standard. He said that all the people that we see on ESPN, he passed up on. Everybody that's currently still there that made it through all the firings and all the budget cuts and everything, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, all the people that are the big names. He said that none of them qualified and they're up to his standard to be hired for him. That's what Whitlock said in response to Stephen A. Smith and Stephen A. Smith saying everything he said in this video. I'm like, bro, who is buying that? Your own crowd was clowning you. Your whole crowd. Nah, RT the Brand was being RT the Brand in Jason Whitlock's chat. He was there too.
I've seen him do it.
He was there too. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat. We're gonna wrap this one up. We have a lot of things to discover, a lot of topics to discover. We caught the Passport Bros in 4K faking a robbery.
I've seen him do it.
This is pathetic, bro. Yo, we caught it. It was so bad. The man's, yo, I'm not gonna ruin anything, but the way we caught these folks faking a robbery for clout and to try to get some sort of money from their super chatters, it is getting so damn dusty from the Passport Bro side that we have to cover it. It's hilarious in how dusty it is. We have 2 cases. We have, you know what? I'm not saying anything else. We have to get to the next show. I gotta hurry up and put these things together. Make sure y'all subscribe, chat. Make sure you join the members for the members only streams. Shout out to everybody that hit that like button. Continue to hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm and helps more people join the chat and join the show so we can grow the channel. Let's get it, chat. We out. Yeah.
He is the worst, most despicable, lying, no good, fat ass human being I have ever known in my life. Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that?
He got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Hey, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.